Welcome, everyone, to episode 47B as we review True Detective episode 4 of season 3. Let me get this right. Is it The Hour and the Day is the name of the title? Chris, what's the name of the title? The Hour and the Day. Thank you, Chris. We're going to be reviewing, obviously, in spoilery terms, what's happened, what we think is going to happen, other details that may or may not come up, as we usually fail to talk about half the things we need to talk about. And anyway, moving on. Chris, what'd you think? Another Sunday of True Detective. How'd you feel?
Well, in this pre-Super Bowl edition of True Detective.
Oh, very true. Yes, correct.
Very, very True Detective.
Yeah. Shit. I gotta watch the Super Bowl and this next week?
Yeah.
I gotta work the next day.
Dude, it's been like 2 straight weeks where I have to watch this at the 11 o'clock showing.
Boo-hoo you, Chris. Boo-hoo.
But I got school the next day.
By the way.
What?
A rumor on the street is you made Dean's List this semester.
I don't know I don't know.
Look. You don't need to gloat. I'll gloat for you. You know, I'm so happy you finally made your way in college to Dean's List. You know, senior year, you ending on a high. I'm proud of you. As a fellow Herb, I'm very proud of you.
Does this get us more viewers?
I don't care. I'm showing you love here, and you're
I appreciate
joking.
It. That's another territory, man.
Fine.
What's wrong with you? Fine.
Anyway, let me read the summary real quick before we move on. Hayes and West, my favorite two people in the world right now. Hayes and West. See a possible connection between the local church and the Pacil crimes as the detectives search for one suspect and round up another for interrogation. Woodard, the garbage man, is targeted by a vigilante group. That's right,
a Batman.
Many Batmans are everywhere. Anyway, you can move on now with your assessment of the episode.
All right, well, for me, I thought this was a really good episode. We're starting to...
I see we're very good at explaining how these episodes are.
Yeah, top-notch explanation. Very good. No, I think we're getting into the juicies.
Ooh.
You know?
Yeah, no, I don't.
No, it's starting to heat up.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
A lot of great moments. For me, this is probably the best episode.
You think so? Yeah. I still like 2. I still like episode 2. I think stands out where they find the boy. I think that one's.
That's episode 1.
2.
They find the boy in the first one.
No.
Yes, they do.
You watch them both back to back. They don't find the boy in the first one. They find him in the second one.
You might be right.
Yeah. No, I am right.
No.
Yes.
We're going to have to check up on that.
Dude, it's the second episode.
How are we forgetting already?
They're going to show the body in the first episode? Are you bugging?
Yes.
Hell no.
Yeah.
They do not.
I don't know. All right, we're getting away from the point right now. Whatever. No, I thought this. Yeah, this is the. Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
Well, look, all episodes were good.
Yeah.
Good so far.
Good and then very good. Yeah. That's our markers.
Good, very good. We're in the green zone on pupil path.
That's all that matters. Yes.
TBT.
Passing classes and passing gas. Move on. Dude,
every week, man, Mahershala Ali. It's Mahershala Mania. Hashtag Mahershala Mania.
I gotta say though, is this Steven Dorff?
Okay, all right. Let me get to that. Because you're not gonna steal this. No. I'm gonna go for this one. Okay?
It's my line.
I'm so glad he's getting shine, and I could officially say with this episode that this is officially deviated from the first season.
Okay.
You know, it's his own thing, and I don't know. I mean, you've seen the first season.
Yeah, I think so.
It's becoming its own thing. And I love that there's character development with West.
Mm-hmm. Roland West. Dude, he might have
he's the best one live.
My favorite voice right now in anything I've heard recently. Him, because I'm watching Game of Thrones too. So him and...
Excuse me?
Yeah, you heard it.
Okay.
Him and Sean Bean have the best voices for me right now.
Sean Bean?
The best voices. The best voices in shit I've seen. But even, I have to say though, Mahershala Ali, I don't know if that's his accent, real accent, but he's got a great southern drawl about him, the way he speaks. I guess because Steven Dorff's character is like a funny dude too, and he delivers shit in hysterical fashion in this show.
Well, he's got
Go ahead. I don't want to steal points. Go ahead.
His one-liners. I mean, we can't repeat most of them because
we can't because they're hysterical.
They hysterical. What is God is love? That's one of them.
God is love, brother. God is love.
No, but the one thing I like that they're establishing about his character, is that he's not really like he's not a piece of garbage. As it's the most generic, dumb way of putting it because
he's a Marty. Marty.
In the first season.
I don't remember these names.
Marty.
Morty?
What?
Rick?
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Oh, jeez.
He's a piece of garbage.
Who are we talking about?
Harrelson's character in the first
season.
Say
that, bro. Yeah, Harrelson's character.
Big fan.
He's a piece of garbage.
Yeah, but this one you could see, and his morals, I think, are in the right place.
Yeah.
And it's in that car ride after they visit the guy with one eye that he was like, if he was surrounded by, I think, like a bunch of white people, there'd be no hesitation.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
His beliefs are in the right place.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the show, so this episode definitely talks about that racist stuff a lot more. I think they definitely hit on the racism themes a lot more. However, I will slightly disagree with you on that. I think his character assumes the role that I think many people will say they are, right? So Mahershala's character asks him, right? He asks him, would you have shot them? And he says, obviously, no. And in fact, I gave it some extra thought because they're actually African American, right? Now, Mahershala's character reacts after that in a way where it's almost like, but really? Like, it's that sort of reaction, right? And you see that, I think, play out in the 90s storyline where there's that scene where he's describing what the unit's doing now to the rest of the cops. And he very, very clearly stomps down on what Hayes is saying at one point to get his point across, right? And clearly he's the captain, right? We get that, right? But I felt like that's one of those moments where you see that there's tension between the two of them. As much as they do their jobs well, they respect each other, there's still a tension. I don't think he's going to be the outward racist, like, for example, that white lady is, that white old lady who makes the dolls. Like, dude, Jesus Christ. So some of the stuff she says, you're like, well, god damn, bro.
And you could tell Mahershala, he's holding
his
back.
acting is so good in those moments. He's awesome, bro. His acting, he has like glares because he doesn't say anything. It's all glares. And there's the glare he gives to West when she first says, it was a black man, and then the eye. And this is all she can remember. And then there's the glare he gives her at the end. He's just like, you piece of shit. Like, you straight up piece of shit.
I love the glares he gives West. Because you could just... It's saying so much without saying anything.
Yeah, so this is the difference from the first season. I think the first season had a lot of dialogue between the two guys to get their points across, right? Whereas in this season, there's conflict in saying less.
Yeah. Right? Yes.
And you see it. And I think because neither of them are talkers. Like, McConaughey's character was a talker.
Straight talker.
Talk nonstop in the show. Neither of them are ones to really go on long soliloquies about the universe and all this shit, right? They're mostly very sort of narrow dudes about how they see things. And they really don't show it all that much. They don't talk about their emotions too much and nothing like that, to each other at least. So,
well, see, I'm gonna counter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because what you spoke about West's character, kind of contradictory from his 90s of like what he's like looking down on Ali. He's the captain now.
Sure,
Ali Hayes.
Yeah.
And because you're just like, oh, he's like, really? Do you really think that? You believe that?
Yeah.
But you see, I think that he does believe that, but in
believe
the 90s,
what?
Huh?
Believe what?
That he's not really like racist.
Right. Sure.
But in the 90s thing, I think it's different because I think he's selling out.
Sure.
Whereas I still think he has his core beliefs.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, like the scene, the scene in this film, the show where he's with Tom, right? Tom
Hanks?
Purcell.
Right.
With Tom Purcell, and he says the N-word. By the way, I wasn't a big fan of that.
Me either.
I get what they're trying to go at, but you don't gotta say it. Like, you don't have to say. they wanted to get to having this conversation between the two characters. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You could have found a much smoother way of getting to this without having to hear him blurt out that word, and you're just like, okay, now we're okay. It's lazy. For me, it was lazy. It was like, okay, so we want to have a conversation about race. So how are we going to start it? Some dude's going to throw out the N-word. Like, okay, bro, is that the only way we can talk about race?
The only, I didn't like that scene either because it's just.
But his acting was great.
No, it was. But the one thing I take away from that scene that I thought was a strong point was West's loyalty.
Yeah. I felt. So this is where I feel like Roland West is a complex individual in terms of how he views Hayes. Right. Mm-hmm. I think he has great respect for him for the work he's done. And I think you see that throughout the episodes. He'll mention, like, he's a vet, he tracks by himself. I let him do what he wants. And in that car ride, he says he's the best detective for this, right? However, I don't feel like he sees Hayes past a detective.
Yeah, he doesn't really see the human side.
The person, right? And I feel like that's where, if he were to see Hayes as a person, I don't think he'd have the same level of respect for him, right? Where their relationship is solely based on their work. So it's going to be, for example, very interesting all these years later in the 2015 storyline that he wants to meet him still, right? So I don't know how he's going to take to him at that point, right? It would be very interesting to see how he takes to him. But that, for me, is like, and he doesn't really, he says the N-word, he says he's the best detective, but he doesn't, like, jump on him for, like I think somebody who really loves a person for being the person that they are would do, right? So he's very much like shaking his head sort of thing, like, come on, man, versus what I think would be, what I would have wanted him to do is be like, can't say that shit, etc., right? So either that's bad writing, I don't know which one it is. It's either bad writing or you're trying to show something about the character. But I don't know which one it is. It could be both.
I think it probably is both. I think he was just trying to, like, show, like, elements of the character or whatever, trying to push the narrative forward of, like, this disdain towards Hayes.
Yeah, that other people have.
But it's... Because I think you've already established it. You didn't need to.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go overboard. I think you need to expand on it.
Yeah, and there's no reason why you should be bashing on him. I'm like, yo, he's taking on the case.
Yeah, it really, I don't know. Yeah, it was a bit of a stuffy scene for me. I mean, the acting was delivered well by the dude playing Tom.
Well, another strong point I see is that the relationship between those two is starting to pick up.
Yeah, which we get a sense of in the 1990s thing. Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Let's see, any other... I read a lot of theories.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get to the theories yet.
Not the theories. So the scene Hayes has with his with Amelia in the 80s, I think is fantastic. It's a great dinner scene. I think the dialogue was really good in that moment.
She's sus. I'm sorry. She is wild sus.
I think she's been through shit. And her current life doesn't reflect her past experiences, right? And I think, well, that's most people, right? Most people, you can't tell what the hell they've been up to. But I absolutely loved the dialogue they have with each other. It's very cat and mouse because it's the beginning of the relationship. And I love how it's immediately contrasted with their 90s relationship, which is, it's not really based on, quote, what looks to be love, right? It's very much just a relationship for the sake of a relationship, it seems.
By the way, thank God they didn't show the sex scene because I was watching with my mom. Would have been so awkward.
Dude, I was watching it on my laptop and, she, they get ready to, and I'm like, what? Because I remember when the show started, HBO will give you
there's no nudity, adult content.
They'll give you the flag in the beginning of the episode where it's like, whatever you got to watch out
Thankfully, there's been none of that.
Yeah, there's been none of that.
Not that I'm against it,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, right. But yeah, so their relationship is being looked at from two different lenses, which I think is very interesting. There's the one lens of they're just starting out, and then there's the other lens of 10 years on, what a marriage looks like, why they aren't compatible at that point in their lives. I don't understand his line about, I'm going to cry if you don't stop like talking down to me. Like, I don't know what he was trying to get at.
Here's what I got from it, because I did think it was kind of like, what?
It was an odd line, it felt.
Because I think it would have. I think he's like trying to. It's the only way to kind of like get her like an out of bounds reaction.
Could be,
because she said, "Wow, I've never seen that side of you." Because it's a complex relationship because it's two mysterious as people that I feel like are fighting so hard to not show their full cards of who they really are.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Yeah, that's good. I agree. I also don't think. So I don't think they're compatible. They're
not.
I think the reason they're together is because of the case.
Which can say a lot.
Yeah, and this, at least I felt like this was the big point of that dinner, is they're really quiet up until they talk about the case.
The Purcell
case, right? They're really quiet, obviously, and then they end up talking about their families and shit, but I think they start talking about the case, then she apologizes like, oh, you leave your work at work. I don't want to bring it here with you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in the 90s thing, that's the issue again, is how she views the case and how he views the case is not the same, right? And so she ends up writing a book which he isn't completely happy. He has never read the book that she writes in the 90s thing, right? And he says it's because he sees his name in it. I also think he doesn't like the fact that his wife got so much satisfaction and joy and success off of the back of this case that he failed to deliver on, right? So it's two-pronged, right? It's his failure, and it's also this morbid case of two children, one dying and then one who knows what. And his wife managed to spin it. I don't think she meant it wrongly, but she spins it into a success for her. And he doesn't see that as necessarily right, I would think at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it was this episode where there's a line where she's just like, no, he comes at her saying, like, you're chasing success from this.
Yeah.
And she was like, but you got nothing to, like, I think she like claps back at him saying,
you're living for nothing, basically.
You have nothing.
At least I'm living for something, even if that something is questionable to him, at least, right?
And you could. That's a big debate.
It is, and I think we get the sense that he's a person who's not living in the now. Obviously, you know what? Thinking about it now, the fact that we're getting 3 storylines of the same individual gives credit to this point that he's not really living in the now. Each version of him, right? And I think you see that. I'll always remember that line he gives to the trash man, right? And when he's questioning him about,
you mean isn't the trash man give it to him?
Well, he asks him the question. He's like, "Why don't you think about these questions in reference to what does your life mean, basically, right?" And he says, "I really don't think about that stuff."
Oh, okay,
yeah. And I think that's him refusing to examine where he is in his life at that moment, right? For whatever reason, he clearly has a lot of things he has to deal with, and he refuses to deal with them, right? He finds it's easier to just push them aside.
It's a passive character.
Very, very passive aggressive at times too. And so this falls into the criticism that Amelia gives to him about, you're not really an individual who takes control of a situation. Things seem to happen to you. And that seems because he doesn't seem to always be present with things, right? His mind is always elsewhere. When he's in the car, he's looking out the window. He doesn't really talk that much. Obviously, he develops this brain disease later on that amplifies this to a crazy extent. And then we have that scene of these Viet Cong people stepping forward. And these are people who I'm assuming he's killed, right? And then there's 2 people in there. There's one person in a suit, a guy in a suit, which I saw a theory being the uncle.
It could be.
Which speaks to that whole idea about him finding something in the woods, and that film girl shows him the skeleton of the uncle in the ground in the pit.
It's a theory that
it's one of the theories. Yeah,
I think he leaves the body.
Yeah. I don't know for what reason, but he definitely leaves the body. I mean, hopefully they go into that. But yeah. I mean,
there's also what are the theories? I will talk about the theories, but before we get into whatever theories, we'll go by quickly.
Sure.
What do you think of the last scene?
I mean, it's absolutely
Vince Gilligan-esque.
It's so well done because it keeps people on edge, definitely. And for me, I thought a really cool point in this the guy, the trash man, what is his name? Woodard, right? Woodard takes off his shoes before he starts running.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting for me, at least, because it speaks to his sort of, he's now going into another place mentally. Mm-hmm. He's going to now, this is it. Right? He's not the regular guy who's going around getting beat up, picking up trash, that sort of shit. He is now in war mode, right? And that includes that shedding of his shoes, in a sense, is a little bit like that, because he goes to this baser, almost, I don't want to say animalistic, but it's a lot baser in the humanity rank, right? Where he's now running barefoot through like the woods, through the street to get to his home first. And I just found it interesting that he did that. And then obviously he sets all these weapons up, and he's clearly ready to clean house. He sets up this landmine right in front of the door.
Isn't it a bomb?
Yeah, it's a trip mine, right? So if somebody opens the door, the thing blows up, and it's going to blow that dude to 18 pieces when he opens it. So, I mean, next episode, I guarantee you next episode isn't going to start with that. I mean, if it does, that'd be crazy.
Who knows? I mean, well, again, it is episode 5. We're getting down to the wire.
Yeah. I mean, the guys show up too.
Well, you didn't see the trailer for next week.
I didn't see the trailer for next week.
All right, well, I think they do show something. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
We get Julie
That's
Purcell.
crazy. You watch trailers.
It's a preview. we see Julie Purcell.
Yeah. He picks her out. Hayes picks her out in the videos.
Now there's also, it's a theory week in the R2 Cents world.
Yeah.
He says, I think he says like hot damn or something.
Yeah. People
are wondering if he's seeing something that she has. Because why would he just say that?
Yes, true. Yeah, he definitely recognized something that seemed to clue him.
So yeah, let's get to theories o'clock.
I have no theories,
I saw this on Twitter. Okay, the NYU girl, as I'm going to call her.
Sure. Okay.
When he goes to her room, because I do think these shots were done on purpose. He sees like 2 wine glasses.
Yes.
So I feel like someone we know is with her on this.
Okay. So she lied to him.
I don't think maybe, but like maybe someone he knows is in. Like maybe working with her. Okay. I've seen a theory that she's Julie Purcell's daughter, but I don't think so. I think it's too far fetched.
No, that's bullshit.
Okay, so this is actually really effing interesting.
Huh?
Is it? Might not. Never mind. That doesn't make sense. Hoyt Foods.
Okay.
Is just all behind this, and then I think they're like in. I don't know why, but they're with the parents.
Yeah, I heard about this, that the parents are involved, or at least the mom is.
I think more mom.
Yeah, I don't think the dad did it. And the mom might speak to why she kills herself at some point. Maybe that has something to do with it. And she does leak that dialogue to Amelia about, can I be forgiven, all this jazz. And she completely goes off the boil again.
Very uncomfortable scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was majority of the episode. Not much in terms of what... there's a priest who they interrogate for a little bit, but not much in terms of the actual investigation in this episode. I felt there was a 1 week point. Wasn't much happening in terms of...
Yeah, but we got like 3 weeks of that.
We do, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to see character development, personally. I enjoy these. I very much enjoy Hayes and... what's his name, man?
West.
And West, yeah. I think they're very intriguing people, especially when they're together.
Well, now I feel like you're at that point where you got to you have to be itching towards closing certain storylines.
So we have to get some big thing in terms of the mystery next week. I think if we don't, then it's going to be really rushed at the end. But next week is episode 5, so I think we're definitely going to get something big. Very much looking forward to it. Obviously, there's going to be the consequence of this dude, killing X amount of people, and the vigilantes getting their,
Here's what I think. Yeah. My mom actually brought this theory up.
What up?
Very proud of my mother for this. She was like, she thinks that, because we still didn't get any, we still don't have any clues as to what happened with Hayes and his actual daughter.
Correct.
Because that was like first episode or second episode and done.
Right.
My mom thinks that she's been she's killed, and that the son isn't really telling the truth. And he does have like whatever Alzheimer's.
It's possible.
But I told Mom it's a little too far fetched. But I see where I appreciate the originality.
Yeah, why not? All theories are fun theories.
But I do think Jesus Christ.
You're hitting your mic, Chris.
Sorry.
Jesus.
We gotta. I think next week he's gonna kill the uncle, and I do. We have to be getting closer as to what happened with his.
Yeah,
wife.
I think Hoyt. They're gonna explore Hoyt and definitely the uncle.
And then, I mean, we gotta get to Amelia dying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in the 2015 one, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Yeah, okay, so we'll wrap this up. Pretty solid episode, I thought. I really liked the character development. Good to see each detective away from each other.
Yes,
it's always good to see them in their own space and to grow as characters that are by themselves as opposed to always thinking them of in their relationship. Pretty fun. Obviously can't wait for the next one. And that was it, yeah.
Who do you have for the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Pats.
I got the Rams.
There's going to be a snowstorm in Atlanta. Advantage Pats.
OD.
Advantage Pats, man. Bill Belichick born in 0-degree weather.
Bill Belichick would solve the Purcell case.
I think so.
In a matter of seconds.
Half an episode. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. Always a pleasure.
Always.
Peace.
Deuces.